Now, what in the Royal Caribbean is going on here? So it appears that unfortunately, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line may have gotten themselves in a little bit of a pickle, or should we call it a big pickle, as they are currently being sued for $5 million. This is due to a woman that was sailing on one of their cruise ships, visiting their private island over in the Bahamas, Perfect Day Coco Cay, decided to take a jet ski excursion, and during that excursion, one of the tour operators ran into her, causing her severe injuries that she may be dealing with potentially for the rest of her life. Now, in this video, we will go over all the details that are available. From a layman's perspective, we will talk about the situation and potentially determine if she has a case, if she's going to get that $5 million, those 5 million smackaroos. And I also want to give a warning to all of you throughout this video when it comes to your discretion in choosing the appropriate excursion that you decide to partake in whenever you decide to go on a cruise. So back on December 20th in 2024, there will be a passenger by the name of Jessica Haro. She will be taking a 7-day Caribbean cruise out of Miami, Florida on the world's largest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas. For the last stop, call, or destination that Icon of the Seas would visit, it would of course be Royal Caribbean's private island in the Bahamas, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. While there, Jessica would indulge and book what she perceived to be a beginner-level jet ski excursion, with 11 other passengers, making the total to 12 passengers and 2 tour operators. However, when this excursion actually started to commence, at some point things would go horribly wrong, as one of the tour operators would run into the back of Jessica at a very high speed, causing spinal fractures and very extensive internal injuries, some of which are now deemed to be permanent, not to mention the extremely high medical bills that she now has. Now, roughly 20 or so days after the incident had occurred, Jessica and her Miami lawyer, Justin Shapiro, would then turn around on February 10th, 2025 and sue Royal Caribbean for that whopping $5 million. In a statement by Jessica's lawyer, he would say that in the course of the jet ski tour, Royal Caribbean's tour guide, who was hired to protect Miss Haro, suddenly and recklessly crashed his jet ski into the rear of Miss Haro's jet ski at a high rate of speed while trying to pass her. The tour guide ultimately drove his jet ski over top Miss Haro's jet ski, causing a violent impact with Miss Haro's body. The lawsuit also states that Jessica had no experience in operating a jet ski. However, thanks to Royal Caribbean's promotion of this excursion, saying that it was for novice or beginners, people that have never rode a jet ski, well, this caused her to want to book the jet ski excursion, which the end result of that would be her getting into her accident that's causing her all the injuries, thus the lawsuit for $5 million. Now, another key factor in this equation as to why in this lawsuit the fingers being pointed directly at Royal Caribbean is due to the fact that unlike other excursions you may indulge in, whether you're in a Cozumel or a Nassau, Bahamas, typically those lines will work in collaboration with third-party companies to ensure you have the best time. However, over at Perfect Day in Coco Cay, you have the tour operators and everybody involved with that specific island either hired directly or working directly for Royal Caribbean. Finally, when it comes to the excursion itself, it's supposed to be a safe 1 hour and 15-minute jet ski guided tour. The jet skis, or in this case the Sea-Doos themselves, can accommodate up to 2 people, weighing no more together than 375 pounds. As far as the age limit, you have to be at least 16 to operate the jet ski alone. And if you are an adult with a child, the child has to be at least 10 years old. Now, as you could imagine, when it comes to a high-level activity like jet skiing, all the participants must sign a liability waiver, relieving all of the operators and Royal Caribbean employees of liability should an accident occur. However, the loophole that it appears that the lawyer's trying to get through here is the fact that they are claiming that the tour operator was being reckless and acting out of what their normal operational procedure should be. All of that being said, of course, the big question is going to be, is Jessica Haro going to be able to get $5 million out of Royal Caribbean? Well, there's going to be 2 parts to this, or at least 2 ways that this can go. Are they going to let this go all the way into court, which could take months, potentially even years? Or will there be some type of settlement before going to court, or thus deleting the court proceedings? Personally, I do believe that Royal Caribbean doesn't want this kind of heat. They don't want this type of story all over the news and, of course, affecting their business with people that are staying away from the jet ski excursions because they believe they're going to suffer the same fate. So Royal Caribbean will probably settle. Will it be $5 million? No. This lawyer means business, so he's probably naturally going to aim high. Could there be the potential that she gets $1 million? I think it's plausible, but they'll probably settle somewhere around that range if they decide to settle, or Royal Caribbean doesn't get their lawyers to find the clause or at least the argument stating that, well, she signed the liability waiver and X, Y, and Z happened, and maybe she got in the way of the operator. There are so many factors in the equation without actually seeing the video that maybe is probably out there, but I do believe there will probably more than likely be some type of settlement that all parties are happy with. That way this story essentially goes away as soon as possible. Now, to wrap this up, let's get to the warning, and I could also argue the potential lesson to be learned, not specifically for Jessica Haro, but for all of you out there that go on a cruise and see high-level excursions that you don't normally do, that you decide to take, that you have no experience in. As a Florida man myself, I do jet ski quite a bit. I love the activity. However, I'm extremely cautious and not too crazy when I'm on a jet ski, regardless of my experience level, because I have seen so many instances where things in the blink of an eye go wrong. For example, about 10 years ago, I had a good friend of mine. He had his girlfriend on the jet ski, and there was another jet ski coming his way, so he tried to swerve and get out of the way. They ran into a pole, and his girlfriend, she lost her eye, and she was in a coma for 3 months. Also, it's important to keep in mind that when it comes to these high-level excursions, again, that you don't normally take, the description where it says it's beginner level or novice level is loosely up for interpretation, especially when it comes to jet skis. I remember back when I worked for a Norwegian cruise line, I took my wife on a jet ski over in Bermuda, and it said beginner level. However, when I got over there, the tour operator, do keep in mind there's a difference, this is a third-party situation, not directly in line with like Royal Caribbean in this particular case, but they asked me what level I am at when it comes to being on a jet ski. I told them that I had gone on jet skis a couple times and I'm pretty experienced. There were some other beginners that were in the back that were also partaking in the excursion with us, but they said that they would try to handle whatever that instructor would dish out. And when I tell you that instructor just took off, gone, showing all the skills, no hesitation whatsoever. It wasn't a dangerous situation, but it was one of those situations where even for me, I was like, oh yeah, this is something that I'm not exactly used to. It was a guided tour, but when I tell you we were moving so fast that at any point in time, I could have fallen off, my wife could have fallen off, and it could have been a crazy situation. And that's something that you would potentially come across even if you decide to book an excursion with Royal Caribbean itself. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but obviously the goal is to have the passengers have as much fun as humanly possible. And if they only, for example, have a beginner intermediate level jet ski experience and somebody has a lot of experience, they may be able to talk to the instructor or the instructor will talk to them and they can figure out some type of happy medium where everybody involved has a good time. So if you are a beginner in something like jet skis, make sure you make it very, very clear to the instructor that you have no experience or you have a little experience. That way they know how to handle said excursion. Anyway, that's what we have for today's video. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that Jessica Haro will get the money? Yay or nay? I'd love to hear all of your takes on it. And be on the lookout later on today. I do have a review of my time on board. Let's call it a secret luxury line, the Explorer 2 by MSC's Explorer Journey. I got that full review with all the details coming out later on tonight, so be on the lookout. And of course, know as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.